Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. GabNet needs you. Yes, GabNet needs you to call our live programs and be a part of the citizen panels. It's the most innovative talk format yet because it's not just one caller, it's a group of callers interacting with the hosts at the same time. Here's how you do it. It's simple. First, download Skype at skype.com. To install it, answer 4 simple questions: first name, last name, email address, and your choice of ID. Then launch Skype, go to Add Contacts, type in GabNet Live, and ask to be made a contact. Then you're ready to be on the citizen panel. If you're too lazy, well, you can always call on the phone at 347-352-0079. That's 347-352-0079. For all the information and a call button for Skype, log on to gabnet.net. At the bottom of the page, you'll find a video on how to call us and how to use GabNet. It couldn't be easier. It couldn't be more fun and exciting. We're new. We're different. But we need you to call. So for crying out loud, call or we'll kill this dog. Don't worry, Fluffy. They won't let you die. I'm not kidding. Call or Fluffy gets it. Oopsie. Evolution is defined as any process of formation or growth, development. The evolution of a radio program right before your ears. Welcome into The Exchange. It's Rob Alfano, and it's a Wednesday night, a special night, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. You're going to give us a call on Skype in a little while.
I'm Jim Browning. You're listening to The Exchange. Well, our long national nightmare just may be over. It seems that we are ready to say goodbye to reality television.
Good evening and hello, everybody. Welcome to The Exchange, your safe haven for the free and open exchange of ideas and opinions here on the Great American Broadcast Network every Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 Eastern, 6:30 to 7 Western. I'm your host and broker, Damian Chaplin. If you'd like to join the conversation tonight, go ahead and give us a call on Skype. I'm opening the lines right now.
The Exchange, one program, ever evolving. Be a part of evolution. Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 p.m., Damian Chaplin moves you in new directions. Call GabNet Live on Skype at 347-352-0079. The Exchange, the evolution. Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, only on GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before is now talk like you've never seen it before. Alex Bennett's Ramble is now in video. Log on to Alex's Facebook page at facebook.com/abennett every Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern and experience the citizen panel like never before. We put a face to people like Phil, Patrick, Renee, Kevin, Tony, Jeff, Bree, Brian, and all of our regulars. And Alex is there too in his PJs. Just be glad he isn't naked. You can be one of those people who gets seen and not just heard by calling into Skype. For more information on how to Skype us, just go to gabnet.net. You can dress any way you want, provided it's decent. GabNet is now not just talk and not just a pretty face. So why don't you add yours? Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Well, everybody, it is the Ramble, and the Ramble goes on from now until midnight Eastern Time. And we got a guest for you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and folks out there, and all of that. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, these comedy stylings of Larry Bubbles Brown. Hello, Lawrence.
Hello, Alex. Joyous holiday season to you. I know we both love it so much.
Yeah, as my father used to say, Christmas is at our throats again.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. He never was too fond of Christmas, you know. But then again, we're Jewish and we're not supposed to. You know.
Yeah, I guess. Well, everyone seems to have some religious celebration about the same time of the year, but
well, we have Passover. Now, let me mention here that Passover is in fact a really great holiday for a special reason. Where you only get one gift on Christmas, we get 8.
Oh,
one for every night of Passover. Now, admittedly, I guess in the old days, gift number 1 was an orange. You know, and gift number 2, I don't know, was a piece of firewood or something. I don't know, but because we are Jews and we are cheap, so you buy, by reputation. So,
Well, oranges, I was reading like in the 1800s in England, and orange was a very exotic present to get, because they had to ship them in and take months.
It prevented scurvy, too.
It prevented, yes, that's my favorite disease, scurvy, a bunch of toothless British sailors.
Happy birthday. Here.
But apparently it was just one lime could turn it around, apparently.
Yeah, I heard you have scurvy. Here, have an orange. Does anybody get scurvy anymore?
You'd have to have, I guess, no vitamin C in your diet for weeks, and I guess it could happen.
And that's what happened when you were on a ship. People on ships got scurvy because there was no place to get vitamin C unless they stocked up on oranges, or pulled into the closest island.
And limes.
An orange a day will keep scurvy away. I think that was the saying at the time. Gee, what other diseases don't we have anymore?
Pardon?
What diseases don't we have anymore? You don't hear about scurvy that much because.
Let's see, we wiped out. We don't. The current trend is not to wipe disease out. They have to put you on a pill forever to keep it at bay. So that's the way they make more money, I guess.
I wonder if I decided, like, let's say we're having this conversation now, and I wanted to do something interesting. What would happen if I would, like, I don't know, stop all vitamin C and see if I could get scurvy?
That'd be an interesting experiment.
Yes. So from here on in, I won't take in any vitamin C for a month, and let's see if I get scurvy.
But I think if you do, your teeth will fall out.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I have a choice. It's your teeth or your scurvy. I don't know.
Yeah, I think your gums start bleeding, then the teeth fall out.
God, I'm woozy today. I've been on taking this medicine. Doctors give you medicine when you get older that they don't care what the results are of it. They wouldn't give it to a teenager because it would make him logy and whatever. But I've been taking this pill for these numb feet. And it makes the rest of me numb, makes my mind numb, and so it's ridiculous. So excuse me if I sound a little.
Maybe it's better to live with the pain and avoid the.
Excuse me if I sound a little scurvy. So
be a good name for a secretary, Miss Scurvy.
Yeah. So what are you doing for the holiday season?
Just getting through it. I really hate this time of year, so I guess I liked it when I was a kid. But it's just it's nothing gets done in this country. As someone told me, between Halloween and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because there's parties. They said he'd never get elective surgery done during that time of year.
Well, I'm supposed to. I was supposed.
Understaffed.
I was supposed to have some kind of medical test for prostate this month, and I'm waiting till next month because I know that if I have it this month, the doctor has to read it. Is not going to be here. You know, nobody's. It's just like I'll do it next month. You know.
Yeah.
So, I've been holding off on a medical procedure for exactly that reason.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But
you know what I've been doing, which I used to miss from your show, was I've been going through the newspaper and reading obituaries. Remember when you used to do that?
Yeah, I did it for a while. Then I stopped it. And
somebody got mad at you, I think.
Oh, somebody cornered me at a party and said, "You said my father's name in the obituaries." And, you know, I went, oh, my God. And I realized that, you know, then what I did is I was going into like the ones they post, the ones that people pay for, you know, to say names occasionally. I would say famous names and I would say those names. I did away with that part of it. Okay. Because I said if it hurts anybody, I don't want it to hurt anybody. So I just went for the famous people because everybody knew they died.
Yeah, but you weren't making fun of the non-famous people, were you? I don't recall that.
In the beginning, I was. I would go through the list, name a couple of names and whatever, you know. And I don't know, maybe make a funny joke about the name or something like that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you live and you learn, you know. I mean, I never went into show business to hurt people, you know.
Right.
So.
Well, the thing about reading obituaries now is every paper I can find like five people that died that were younger than me.
Oh, well, you know why I did it? I did it for exactly that reason, to see what the average age of people were who were dying. Mm-hmm. Not realizing that, like, as of December 18th, I was, I'm saying that in retrospect because we're doing this earlier, I was 79.
Yeah, that birthday. You had the same birthday as my mother.
Yeah, so I threw those averages off. You know, because you're supposed to die at what, 77 or something like that if you're a male.
It's between 74 and 77. Yeah.
Yeah. So I made it to 79. You know, and I keep thinking of as I talk about it, the Grim Reaper sitting over my shoulder, going, "Well, it's coming."
It's pretty scary, isn't it?
It's coming. You know, it's the old joke. I'm not buying any unripe bananas.
To a lifetime supply now is just one of anything. So would you? Then I looked at people that were famous that died, like Steve McQueen died at 50. I'm just thinking, well, would you died at 50 if you could have had his life?
But you could have his life and not die at 50. I mean, there are a lot of old actors who've been around for a long time. Look at somebody like Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks is, what, 93 or something?
Yeah.
And Carl Reiner, his good pal, is about the same age.
I think he's a couple years older.
Yeah. So, I mean, what if you could trade their life? I think I would, yeah. Steve McQueen's, I don't want to die young. I don't want to die that young. You know,
but he had an amazing life. I mean, he was huge for.
Yeah, he had an amazing life. I mean, what's his legacy, though? I mean, if I'm mentioning Steve McQueen now, if there's anybody under the age of 40, they don't even know who the fuck he was.
Probably, yeah.
You know,
big top actor in the early 70s. I think he was the biggest draw.
But you know, a top actor in any one at any one time is not necessarily going to have lasting impact, because his career did start to go into somewhat of a decline, and then he got, what did he get? He got cancer, I think it was.
He had a huge tumor in his stomach, like a 50-pound tumor.
Really? They didn't take it out?
I don't know why they couldn't do that. Then he was going down to Mexico. Remember, he was getting all these weird treatments down there. And
yeah, well, that's what killed him. What killed him was not doing anything about it, you know, but relying on these false doctors down in Mexico. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe Trump's right about the No.
Then you have people really young, like James Dean. I think was 23 or 24.
Well, now a good friend of mine, Jack Garfine, who was a director and a theater director and movie director, not as many movies, couple of movies, discovered James Dean.
Wow.
And was the last person to see him alive.
Really?
Yeah, he said goodbye to him as he got in the car and took off to go up to, where was he going? He was going up to some races somewhere up north, and died down around, what, Gilroy?
And down near, it's Paso Robles.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, he was on his way to a race, yeah.
Yep. And he said goodbye to him, kissed each other on the cheek because he's very European, Jack. And the next thing you knew, he was in a screening room with Elizabeth Taylor watching the rushes from Giant.
Wow.
And the door opens and somebody walks in and whispers something in Elizabeth Taylor's ear, and she goes, "Oh, my God." And it was news that the James Dean had died. Here's an interesting thing I found out about James Dean. What was the sexuality of James Dean?
I've heard that he may have been bi.
I asked Jack about this. What it was is he said that in my interview about him kissing him goodbye, and I said a lot of people are going to take that wrong because, I've always heard that James Dean, and most people have heard he was gay.
No.
And he looked at me and he said, Dean was not gay. He said, not even close to it. And he couldn't remember the name of his girlfriend at the time, but he had a girlfriend at the time. He said, no, he wasn't gay at all. And I had always assumed all my life that James Dean was gay. So there's another assumption gone asunder.
Now, didn't you say, like, it's good that he died young because if he'd been old, he'd been like doing some shitty lounge act in Vegas?
Well, I asked Jack that question. I said I've always had a theory that if you die young, you go into this pantheon of people who are considered icons,
instant legend.
In other words, you look at Nighthawks, that painting by what's his name? I can't remember his name now. In which all these people, Edward Hopper in the diner. Isn't James Dean one of them?
No, they did someone did a copy of that picture with Dean and Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, okay. But these people were icons. Dean, to this day, from Rebel Without a Cause, that image is iconic. Marilyn, 7-Year Itch, iconic. And yet, if these people hadn't died young, how much would they have made it in that iconography?
Yeah.
And I said
they might wind up like McQueen.
Well, I said, if James Dean were alive today, how would his career be like? And he said, well, he would have gone on to great stuff. Now, that's only an assumption by a guy who, of course, discovered him and admired his talent. But my theory was what I said to Mark Frost, who was one of the guys with David Lynch who created Twin Peaks. I said, I've always had a bet that if James Dean were alive today, he would have wound up on Twin Peaks. And they said, oh, he would have cast him as the owner of the hotel.
There you go.
Yeah, he immediately knew who they would have cast him as. He said, absolutely. And I said, that's probably what would have happened to James Dean. You would go, oh, yeah, that guy that was in Rebel Without a Cause. Didn't I see him last week on Supergirl? But because he died, all image of him, all aging, everything about him stops at that point, and so he gets frozen in time.
Yeah.
And Marilyn got frozen in time. You ever see Ginger Rogers when she got older?
Yeah, not good.
Not good. Pretty disgusting, actually. She kept trying with the blonde hair, but she couldn't keep the plumpness away, and it was pretty horrible. All right? I think that's what would have happened to Marilyn Monroe. If Marilyn had gotten to be 70, you go, what the fuck happened to her?
Probably had some bad plastic surgery.
Something, yeah. And oh, by the way, Jack was very close to Marilyn too. That was the other person he was very close to, she got frozen in time about the time that her career was having problems. Okay, but she got frozen in time, and so now Marilyn's iconic.
Yeah.
But if she were still around and showing up on Turner Classic Movies discussing her films, and you saw her there as this plump old blonde still bleaching her hair, you'd go, fuck, why doesn't she just pack it in? So that's what happens. Some people are fortunate to freeze themselves in time by dying.
That's a good way to go.
It doesn't do them much good, but, these people go on to keep making money. Every time they use her image, say, in a commercial, which they do, her estate makes money.
Yeah.
And so her heirs make money. There is one agent in Hollywood who deals with nothing but dead people. He said his clients never complain. But what he does is he represents them. If I want to do a commercial for Gabnet and I want to use Marilyn's image in my print ad, I have to go to this guy to get Marilyn the rights to use Marilyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Chaplin's character to this day is trademarked.
I imagine.
I think it's Poppy Incorporated is the name of the company. Yeah. So, just die young and leave a good-looking corpse, and the world will beat a trail to your door, path to your door, something like that, whatever that saying is. But
then on the other hand, you've got Clint Eastwood, who's I think he's got a new movie coming out.
Yeah,
he's 88.
Yeah, it's called Mule, I think, in which he plays a drug mule.
Yeah.
Yeah, an old guy is trying to get, money for his daughter's cancer operation or something, so he decides to be a mule for drugs.
He's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Just for the longevity alone is amazing.
Yeah, well, they're the fact that he can still direct a film is amazing to me. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing you have a tendency to lose as you get older is mobility. And when you're making a movie, you've got to have pretty good mobility in order to set up shots and to see where it's going and do this and do that. I give you as an example, if you want to see, we think of Hitchcock as being this incredibly visual director who had fast movement and so on, like in the Psycho shower scene and so on and so forth. Go watch his last film, Frenzy. It is so slow and plodding, and the direction is so static that you see what age does.
Okay. I've never seen that one.
Yeah, it does affect a director. And so I think that, so the Clint Eastwood can still make a film. Now, I'm not a big fan of his, so I don't watch every film he makes, and he makes one about every 3 minutes. I haven't seen how his direction is, but it probably is a bit on the slow side.
Well, I know he stays in super shape and always eats well, so maybe that's why he's been able to do that.
Well, he's also managed to avert the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Really. I look at a guy like Clint Eastwood and I wonder, well, what is his health really like? Does he still have a prostate? What there must have been some things medically that he had to deal with. It's not like he's, 78? How old is he now? Not 88, rather?
88.
88 years old, and somehow managed to avoid something like I have, numb feet or, an enlarged prostate or whatever. So I don't think he's just sitting there in 100% purely good health. He just doesn't tell you what's wrong with him.
That could be, yeah.
Is this a depressing discussion, folks?
But no, it's he's still working. That's very uplifting.
Yeah, I mean, Mel Brooks was still working at that age. I mean, up to a few years ago, he was doing Broadway shows and writing Broadway shows and things like that, you know.
I'd heard that Mel Brooks was actually working on something now with Dana Gould.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm going to see Gould tomorrow. I'll find out what it was, but I don't know if it was a remake of some movie or...
I don't know. So where are you going to see Dana Gould tomorrow?
He's at the Punchline tomorrow. So I'm going to drop down and see him.
Oh, good. Good. Say hello for me, okay?
Yeah.
In fact, tell him I'd like to call him sometime, put him on the show, you know?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, just for old time's sake, for grins, you know? He's got some kind of show on IFC, doesn't he?
He does. I haven't seen it yet. But
Stan something.
I've got a cult following.
Yeah, yeah.
It's something. Something about Stan.
Yeah. It's a show where this guy is. I don't know the show. I didn't watch it. Don't tell him that.
Okay. Well,
don't tell him that. But tell him I'd like.
Yeah, you guys should talk. That'd be great.
See if you can get a number out of him. Tell him I'd like to talk to him, and you know, because his career. I've seen his career go every which way. He got married for a while to the woman who was the head of production at HBO, right?
Yeah, they were together quite a while. So.
Yeah, and he's done okay. He was a writer and producer for The Simpsons for quite a few years. You know, so one of the Alex Bennett alumni who's gone out and done pretty well for himself. Unlike a Larry Bubbles Brown.
Yes, he made really good money at The Simpsons. And if you watch The Simpsons, there's the credits. There must be 20 producers.
Yeah,
and they're all writers.
Yeah.
And I forget who told me that, but they said only in Hollywood would be a writer would be considered an insult. We got to call ourselves a producer.
Well, they had so many producers on that show that by the end of the show, the last producer credit ran. You know, I mean, it was just like there's a and so and so and so and so and so and so. You know, there was a guy. What's his name? I can't remember his name now. See, that's what happens with this drug. But he was one of the original producers on The Simpsons, Sam Simon.
Sam Simon, who let a medical problem go too long.
Yeah, but Sam Simon, they didn't like him. So after the first year, they dumped him. But they had to keep paying him for the next, 20 years, something like that? His name is still on
he was still, I think at the end he was getting $50 million a year off the show. Still.
$50 million?
Yeah, it was crazy. 20 or 50 or some insane amount because he was one of the original creator producers. So he always got a hunk of it.
But they didn't like him, so they dumped him. But he still had to get paid, and he still had to have his name on the credit. And he was one of the original 3 producers. There are 3 names there, and one of them is Sam Simon. To this day. They never bought him out. They never did anything else. They just said, we don't want to see you around here. Get out of here. We'll send you a check. And
that's a huge estate.
Yes, and to his credit, he spent a lot of his money on good works.
A lot of it going to animals, yeah.
Yep. So Sam Simon was really a terrific guy in a way. I don't know why they didn't want him around, but, you know, who knows why these fights go on. Do you know I'm looking at the clock and we got less than a minute left? Although we could go on like this forever. Fuck them. We'll just keep talking.
Time flies when you're talking about death.
Time flies when you're approaching death. You know, I mean, I'm sick and tired. We can go a little bit over. I'm sick and tired of getting news about people dying in my life. You know, I was talking to my business manager, Gary Haber, the other day. He had somebody just die. He said the terrible thing about, he's 82. He says the terrible thing about being 82 is how many people around you are dying. And I said, tell me about it. I'm 79. He says, you're just a kid. You know, but the fact is that as you get older, part of the penalty of getting older is seeing the people around you die.
Mm-hmm.
And like my ex-wife, Ronnie, is in the process of dying. Nothing they can do about it. And she talks with me every 2 weeks, and we're kind of following her journey. And for somebody like myself who just fears death terribly, this has been kind of an arduous thing for me to do. But there's something I think very valuable about it. Like in the last episode, she took her hat off and showed that she's totally bald now from the chemotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then that happened. What people do we know that died? I mean, comedians that we knew, like Bob Schimmel and Bill Hicks, and and then my friends. I have best friends. I had from Bruce, who died, my friend, my boyhood friend Roy Trumbull died. My best friend in high school. I mean, it's just over and over and over again until you finally go, well, it's what my mother said. When you're a kid, the biggest social event you have are birthday parties, and when you're old, they're funerals.
That's true.
Yeah. It's terrible. Anybody died recently?
It's been a while. I keep expecting to hear more and more, but
yeah. Well, you'll hear more and more. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, in the next couple of years, there'll be a lot.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's not us.
Huh?
Hope it's not us.
Well, hope it's not us. We won't know when it is us, so that's the part that bothers me, is that I won't know. I'm silly that way. Anyway, hey, listen, you have yourself a very happy Christmas. What are you doing? I guess you got a New Year's gig, do you?
I do. Doing a little restaurant in Walnut Creek, and I guess Carl's Jr. was already booked. So
And that's what happens when you're a comedian. I mean, for years, my New Year's was holding a show somewhere.
That was a great show. We usually the Palace of Fine Arts.
Well, that was later on when we did the one at the Palace of Fine Arts, and it was great because I lived a block away from the Palace of Fine Arts.
You could walk to it. That was, yeah.
So I'd walk to it, and I'd walk home, and then we'd have a party back at my place.
I remember the first New Year's show I did with you was '86, and it was down in someplace in Mountain View.
Yeah, I don't even remember. But, it was like for years, people would go, what are you doing for New Year's? I'm working,
Mm-hmm.
That was the night, that was the biggest money I made in the year of any shows.
And it's a crappy night to work, but it's a great money night. That's why everyone does it.
Yeah, right. And the audiences are terrible.
Terrible, yeah. I remember we did the show you had at the Palace Fine Arts one year was... you had me, Rubin, Attell, Feldman, Kameen. Everyone just bombed. It was just like, because then we realized New Year's crowds are people, sometimes that's the only show, they just go out for that night for the entire year. That's the only night they go out.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
well,
a comedy crowd.
The other reason,
do something.
The other reason why is, and we even served liquor at ours. I think, we brought in a bar service. Oh, no, we lost him. What is this? How would I rate this call? What? We lost him. Let me call him back. Boy, this happened the other day with Ronnie too. Yeah, I just hung up on you.
Yeah, so you said you brought in a bar. Yeah, you did bring in a bar for the Palace of Fine Arts.
Yes, I did, and so people had the opportunity to get drunk, and the problem is they get drunk and then they don't really laugh, So
yeah,
that's the problem. Anyway,
there's a fine line. They get a little drunk, they'll laugh more, then they just get out of control.
Yeah,
after they go over a certain.
Yeah, I don't know why my Skype keeps petering out like this, but what the hell, it's life. Anyway, hey, listen, have yourself a happy New Year. Have yourself a Merry Christmas.
You too. You have a great Christmas, Hanukkah, and Passover, and birthday.
And we'll see you right after. Well, that's already happened when this plays.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I'm an old codger already. Anyway, stick around. We'll get another date from you. We'll see you after the first of the new year.
Sounds good.
Larry Bubbles Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
And that was our good friend Larry Bubbles Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Larry. Have a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas and even a happy Kwanzaa, although he's not black, but you know. Anyway, that's that. Okay, we're halfway. This is a halfway point through the week. We're not going to be here next week, as you may or may not know, because we're taking the week off. We'll be off until January 2nd, at which point we shall return. But I want to give everybody time off, and nobody's going to listen during that period of time anyway, so fuck it, you know. And I'm getting the Skype lines ready here. That's what you see me doing, you know, because I do everything on the show. I'm the cook, the bottle washer, the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle. Anyway, it's time for people to call, if anybody wants to call. It's not my birthday today. By the way, I've had more trouble with Skype this week. I did Ronnie on Tuesday, and in the middle of the conversation, it went out. Last week, I did that interview with Bubbles, and or maybe when did I do that? Yeah, I did that. No, wait a minute. Excuse me. Durst was okay. Ronnie petered out on me, and Bubbles, as you heard in that interview, petered out on me. And then last night, we added a... tried to add a 11th person to our citizen panel, and the whole thing went beep. That was it. It's completely dead. So hopefully tonight it'll all work, and I would love to hear from you. If you don't know how to do Skype or you don't know how to be a part of the citizen panel, which if you don't know what a citizen panel is, stick around, you'll find out. But all you have to do is go over to gabnet.net, and all the information there is on the right-hand side of the page. And if you feel that you're not going to be, you're going to miss something here, the video is on over there as well. Look who's here. There he is. Phil Myers, the first one to call tonight. Oh, yeah. And the second one to call tonight is Charlene Martinez. Hello, Charlene. Is she there? Is she there? Yeah, is she going to pop up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now we turn on your camera. We can see you. And but right now...
Well, I hope I don't look too bad because my makeup's a mess. I had a facial.
Just quit being vain. You can't be vain on this show. We got some of the ugliest people in the world calling this show for crying out loud.
I look really bad today.
Yeah. Plus, that picture's got to be 30 years old, right?
What, my picture?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I see it on my computer.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I know, because I don't look that good anymore.
Yeah. That's kind of like what the newspaper columnists used to do. Richard Johansson. Do we know a Richard Johansson?
You do now.
I do now.
When I used to have pictures of that at that age, I thought I was fat and I looked terrible and everything.
Yeah.
But now when I go back and look at all those pictures, I'm like, my God, there was something wrong with me because I look so much better.
Richard Johansson. Richard, are you there, Richard?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear?
Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you, Richard.
We can hear you, Richard.
Yeah. I
you know what you got?
I actually.
Wait a minute. You got to turn off the audio from your browser.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. Yeah, we stop hearing her talk. Oh, look who's calling.
Yeah, wait a minute. Just hold on a minute.
Okay, but we're being joined by Charles Wallace, who hasn't called us in forever.
Jeez.
Hi,
wow.
Charles. You there? You there, Charles? There he is. Hey!
Turn off the audio.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'm going to get rid of this guy. Hold on a second. Because it's just not. It's not working.
He's a newbie. Give him a break.
Well, no, but I can't. Can you hear me? Hold on a second, Charlie. Richard. He hung up.
He's gone.
Okay, he's gone. What a. Okay, there we go. Hey, Charles, how are you, Charlie?
I'm doing okay. Am I on?
Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't heard from you in a long time, and the last time we saw you, the camera wasn't as good. Now we can see you in your full glory. How you feeling? How's your health been?
Actually, I'm doing pretty good now. I had a couple bad years there health-wise, but I'm doing fine now.
Yeah, because you had some amputations and things like that because you had...
Oh, yeah. And I ruptured a couple of discs in my back. And
oh, boy.
I asked Patrick about you, and he said that you'd moved and gotten married.
Well, no, I didn't actually get married, but I did. I moved to Mesa, Arizona. So after 43 years in Texas, I'm now in Arizona.
Why'd you decide to move to Arizona?
Well, because she wanted to retire to Arizona, and so I followed her out here, and then we ended up breaking up last month, so I'm on my own.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it wasn't hot enough in Texas.
Wait a minute, hold on a second.
Actually, it's a lot hotter here, but it's dry.
That's what I mean.
It's actually more comfortable.
Yeah.
So wait a minute.
So
you wait a minute. You were married, but you broke up.
No, we never got married. I just moved out here.
Oh, I see. Okay, and then she didn't come with you. Is that what happened?
No, I came with her here because her son lived here in the Phoenix area, and so
okay.
She wanted to retire here, and she retired a year ago, and so that's when we moved out here, and then things just didn't work out once we got out here.
Wow, how long had you been going with each other?
A year and a half.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like it was a long-term thing that suddenly blew up after years and years and years.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Is a year and a half long term?
By today's standards, absolutely. Yes, Charlene.
No, is this the guy that used to do softball and all that?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
In fact,
I thought it was Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I ended up
I thought you called him Richard, but maybe
I just called him.
guy.
That was the other guy.
That was the other guy.
Okay.
Okay. Pay attention.
Charlie,
Pay attention, Charlie. Yes.
yeah, I'm
Keep track of the players.
Softball.
You still doing the softball thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you decided to call because we've missed you. You were always a nice contributor to the
Sirius,
show.
Right?
Huh?
Oh, back to the Sirius days.
The Sirius days, right. Yeah.
Wait a minute, did I work at Sirius at any? Oh, yes, I did, didn't I?
Sirius XM, yeah.
Yeah, it's been so
That's
long.
how I
now.
found you, was on Sirius XM.
You know, it's been almost 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And the stock is about the same as when I left. Anyway. Oh, boy. But your health is good now. It looks like your health is good. If it isn't,
he looks good.
You're the best looking corpse I've seen.
Yeah, I'm probably in the best shape I've been my whole life since I've been exercising pretty regularly.
There's
Jeff's wife.
The wife, yeah.
Huh? There's Jeff's wife sneaking behind there. She's a lovely woman, by the way, Jeff. You see.
I know she's got a beautiful orange blazer on. She's
but she's also just very, very nice. She's she's terrific.
You can call her Pam.
We can just call her Pam.
Yeah. She'd have to be nice for Jeff to be married to her. He's a good guy too.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We're the ones.
Alex.
What?
Can I ask? What are you and Marjorie going to do? Because she's still mending her knee, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you guys just going to have to take it easy, or are you going to go visiting?
Well,
or something?
tonight we went. She took me out to dinner for the dinner we didn't have last night, and we walked like 2.5, 3 blocks, and it was fine. I just had to walk slowly, because she wasn't, But no, she's on the mend. She's finally. I can say that every day it seems to get better and better and better. Okay, where before
I'm glad.
It was better by measures. I don't know if you know what happened, Charlie, but Marjorie, my wife, was tripped by a tourist and fell to the pavement and broke her knee.
Yeah, I heard that she broke her knee.
Yeah. So, it's not an easy mend, but she's back to work, and she goes and gets her hair done and her nails done and all the things that she's got to do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but let's put it this way: if she had a leg amputated and it had just been amputated, she'd still go get her hair done.
Then she's like me, because I would do that too.
Yes, exactly.
Even if I had no toes, I'd have a pedicure, right?
Exactly.
Very good.
I wouldn't say that in front of Charlie, but
I know
pedicure is not my thing anymore.
Yeah.
Because I remember poor Charlie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't lose them all. You only lost what, 1 or 2?
6.
6.
Yeah.
On one foot.
Charlie, you got to lose my husband.
One on my right.
My husband doesn't believe that diabetes can lead to that. He won't do anything to keep it. He's diabetic, really bad, type 2. Mm-hmm. And I keep telling him that stuff. You should talk to him and let him. He doesn't believe it, but I said, I don't care. You don't want to take care of your health. What can I do? Right?
I'll show him a picture of my feet.
Pam, what's her name? That passed away.
No, not Pam Dauber.
No, not Pam Dauber.
Lorraine. No, he's got me doing it now.
Yeah,
Penny
Marshall.
Penny Marshall.
That was due to complications with diabetes.
Yeah.
It really ravishes you. I've got
ravishes you.
Diabetes.
Wait a minute, ravishes you? That would be a good thing.
Oh well, ravages.
Oh, there you go.
Ravages.
There you go, Phil.
All right,
Phil speaks 7 different languages. Yeah. Next, he's going to learn English.
You just got to figure it out. I give you a little space to think.
Phil's like that guy that used to be on the Dean Martin show.
Norm
drunk guy that got all the words.
No, not the drunk guy.
No,
the guy that always used to come on, the Italian guy, or I think he was Italian.
Norm Crosby.
Who always got all the words. Norm Crosby. There you go.
Norm Crosby. I loved him.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, what's wrong with me?
He did malaprop, what they call malapropisms. In which you mispronounce every word, which is pretty much, I'm surprised we can even understand what Phil says. Because if he has a choice,
a right-wing bent.
If he has a choice between 2 words, he will pick the wrong one.
Absolutely. But I know what they mean.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, sometimes diabetes just has minor complications. Other times it has complications like Charlie had. And I got to tell you, in other cases it can kill you, like with with what's her name, Penny Marshall. So
Charlie's not overweight or anything.
No, I've never really been overweight.
So how did you get it? Because usually
both my parents had it, so it was in my genes.
Yeah.
So it was just genetic. Wow. Because usually
I'm sure you try to control it, Charlie. Right?
Oh yeah, my blood sugar is excellent. My A1C's 5.4.
So you're no longer a diabetic at 5.4, or is it?
No, I'm diabetic.
You're on insulin.
I'm on metformin.
Oh, well, I'm on metformin, and
me too.
Mine is between 6.2 and 6.7.
Can we get somebody to call this program who's well? If
they were well, they would.
It almost seems like I'm a doctor, and this is my waiting room.
Right.
There's Jeff. He has what do you have in you?
I'm healthy.
But you're healthy, but you have pacemakers in you and stuff like that.
Yes. Oh yeah.
You're our
$6 million man.
Yeah. Like I said this to my wife today. She goes, well, how many valves have you had replaced? And I said 4.
Wow.
So that's
how many are there?
There are only 4.
Well, everybody has 4 valves in
that's what I thought. I thought
right.
So. You've had them all replaced.
A valve is the
but I had the aortic valve that I call the first one, which was the one that my mother gave me. Uh-huh. Okay, I was born with one. Then I had a mechanical valve when I was like 30 years old.
Wow.
And then I had a porcine valve.
That would
which
be
is
a pig
valve.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
You had a pig valve.
And after that, I had a cow valve put on top.
Really? Not a joke? A cow valve?
More
So
cow
I got
valve.
a cow and a pig valve in parallel.
More cow valve. More cow valve.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Yeah. Well, all I've got is the numb feet. And by the way, it's not from diabetes because that's been checked. It's just it's neuropathy.
You know, Alex, I was looking into my numb feet like you, and it could be now that I have like some sort of arthritis or something. And I'm I have to do through all this physical therapy, and then I might have to get an MRI, and I don't know. Eventually, they'll diagnose.
Mine's from a compressed nerve in my back. So
that's what they said, a small compressed nerve or something.
Folks, if you're just tuning in now and you happen to be a youngster, go somewhere
it's the medical
else.
Hour.
You know,
Hey, your Larry Bubbles Brown interview was about death. And now you've progressed into health.
Well, whenever we do an interview,
reasonable progression.
But whenever we do an interview with Bubs, it's about death and destruction and how horrible things can be for people. You know.
When we were young, we were talking about what kind of cars we had.
Yeah, or hey,
or women.
When you were young, when you were young, a valve job meant something completely different.
That's right.
Here's something that
you got mechanical or hydraulic lifters.
I've suddenly realized that there are lots of different terms that go out of what do you call it? Out of the language.
Fashion.
And as you get older, I'll give you one you don't get. You're probably not going to say at 79 years old. I'd fuck that. You know, you're lucky to have what you got. You know,
it's only good for pissing.
Yeah. You know, what was it? My favorite year, and Peter O'Toole's using the ladies' room to take a leak, and Selma Diamond walks in and goes, "This is for ladies." He says, "So is this, but occasionally I have to pass water through it."
I remember that movie.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. It was based on a true story. They don't in these days they make sure you know it's based on a true story, but it was when Mel Brooks was working for your shows, and they made him babysit Errol Flynn. And so if you look at that film, he didn't direct it, he didn't write it, it says, but it is a Brooks film. And it's a great movie. You know, it's if you've never seen it, put Peter O'Toole and Peter O'Toole. That's all you got.
You know, Alex, have you seen that movie Vice?
No, I'll tell you what happened today. I finally got my password and all of that, so that I can watch all the nominated films on.
Yeah, you get them all free, like.
So I have Vice sitting there. I have Mary Queen of Scots sitting there. The favorite, what is it? Black Panther, Mary Poppins Returns, a whole bunch of.
You're going to be binge watching all of those.
What about Stars
Born? You know what I tried? I have A Star Is Born. I have, but I've already seen that. We went to the theater and saw that. Also, Crazy Rich Asians. I'm trying to remember the couple of other films I'm not even remembering. Of course, Klansman, which I've seen already. But basically, what I do with these films is she wants to watch them all immediately. You know, I want to watch The Favorite. I want to watch this. I want to watch that. That Melissa McCarthy film, which is supposed to be very good.
Yeah, it's a serious role for her, right?
But I told her, you know, we shouldn't watch these all in one day. You know, we've got a month before the nominations are supposed to be in. The votes are supposed to be in. And let's just enjoy these things and parcel them out, you know. Let's not watch them all in one night and then say we have nothing left to watch. You know, so...
I saw a clip tonight that Macaulay Culkin reprised his role in Home Alone.
Oh no! Where?
Yeah, there's another movie out with Macaulay Culkin.
With him at this age now, because he's
with
now.
him and with Google. Everything is with the Google.
Oh.
Ordering food and him home alone with the Google. What do you call it? Assistant. Yeah.
Well. But anyway, so I got those today, and then they'll be sending some hard DVDs as well of a couple of things that we're not getting that way. And but I had to get a hold of them because because they didn't send me the announcement. They sent it to Shecky, so that's how I got it. But they didn't send me the announcement that these things were now available. But I went online, signed up for it, and got them. So. Apparently,
that's because you're sad,
I should have gotten the email, but I didn't. So, but I wrote them, and they sent me my passwords and things like that. So, it's a screening program that's on my. The only thing they do it for is Apple TV, and there's an app. And then you fill all the stuff out in the app and the password and so on, and then all the films come up and you can watch them. So
so they don't send
more
hard
CDs.
Copies. Right.
There are no DVDs. They do send DVDs too. There will be a bunch of DVDs that'll come out. Let me see here. Where did I have a list of those films?
I'm dying to see Dean Stockwell do George W. Bush because to me he looks like he does a good job.
Dean Stockwell.
No, did I say
Dean
I meant
Stockwell is dead?
No, there's another guy that I like.
That'd be
Sam
a great
Rockwell.
film.
I'm sorry, I meant Sam Rockwell. Sorry. I know who Dean Stockwell is too, though. I shouldn't. I'm getting old, Alex. You see.
You see, John Rockwell is playing George W.
John Rockwell.
No, I saw him doing it. I can't. I think Cheney is. He's probably going to do an amazing Cheney. They say too that it's almost like. He is Cheney, right, or something?
I guess. Wait a minute. Where is it? I had it here.
I guess he was trying to make it so real. He went out and shot his neighbor.
I should have called him Dean. What's his name? The guy that paints the pictures. The Saturday Morning Post or whatever.
Norman Rockwell.
Norman Rockwell. Right? Then I know I'm really getting old. It's terrible. I swear I'm getting old because these things happen to me even more now. That I get my things all screwed up.
Here are the films. Let me see here. Motion pictures and getting. Let's see here. Beautiful Boy, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Can You Ever Forgive Me, The Favorite, Vice, The Wife, and let me see here. There's also. Let me just go to the. Let me go to the site here.
What's The Wife? The Wife. I think I've heard what it is, but I forget. And a lot of people say they like Bohemian Rhapsody, that it's great, and then I read reviews that they say it got it all wrong and it was not right,
Yeah.
And somebody said that if you really like to go to a movie and you want to sing, which I'd probably be trying to do that, but my singing voice is shot, but
okay,
I try to sing along.
On digital, online, I get Stars Born, Rich Crazy Asians, which I've already seen, A Quiet Place, Beautiful Boy, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Can You Ever Forgive Me, The Favorite, Green Book, Mary Poppins, and Mary Queen of Scots. And so that's the digital streaming. Then they're going to send us out DVDs. Some of them are the things we'll already have. Beautiful Boy, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Can You Ever Forgive Me, The Favorite, Vice, and The Wife. The thing I like about getting the DVDs is they'll last forever, whereas with the digital, as soon as they're through with the nominations, they disappear. So.
You can't see it another time, right? Yeah.
Right. So, but this year I was smarter because what I did is in the past. Who's talking?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's my wife and her sister.
No, but what I've done in the past, we've gone and see all these movies, and then all of a sudden we get them, And, so very few of them have I seen, and I'm happy about that. We've been very careful about that. So anyway, that's...
I thought you would have run right out and taken a look at that Mary Poppins remake.
It isn't out till Friday. But I don't.
Well, you're not online?
In fact, they're not putting it online. They're not putting it online until Friday.
No, the online I was talking about was standing out in front of the theater waiting for it
I'm
to...
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah.
He's a big Mary Poppins fan.
Yeah.
Is it a musical?
I hope so.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Also,
Things.
I would like to say I saw Black Panther, but the picture was so dark in the theater that you couldn't see it.
It was black.
Well, no way. Okay, so there were black people in it.
No, nothing to do with the people. It was black. Black Panther. How are you going to see it?
It wasn't called Dark So You Can't See It Panther. And it was, it was horrible. They weren't pouring enough light on the screen. So, it'd be nice to be able to see it.
Maybe you won't be able to see it on your screen. Then you'll know it wasn't the screen. It's just the way the movie was.
You had to complain or something, right?
Well, you know what? It's amazing to me that people don't complain when there's bad projection. How many of you have been to a movie theater and the projection was terrible?
At those prices, you better complain.
Yeah. But I told you about that thing about the creatures picture, that Harry Potter spin-off
the one
thing.
that won the Academy Award, right?
No, it didn't. No.
I thought it did.
You're talking about The Shape of Water. I'm talking about that film where the guy, it takes care of all these creatures and stuff. And But anyway, we went to see that, and I tell the story. I've told it before. And I'm a 3D freak, okay? I love 3D. I loved it since I was a kid. So when I go to a theater, and all of a sudden I'm watching a movie, and I got my glasses on, and it's not in 3D, and I just paid $4 more for the 3D showing, I want it to be in 3D.
Yeah, I would walk out.
So I went down to the manager and I said, the film's supposed to be in 3D. He says, let me look. Is that a 3D showing up there? And I went, yeah, that's a 3D showing. I said, come up and take a look. And he goes up. And, of course, it isn't even a large screen. They've got a smaller size screen ratio there. And it's not in 3D. And he says, well, I can't do anything about it now. He says, you want your money back? I said, yeah, I want my money back.
Absolutely.
I said, absolutely. I said, what about all these other people? He said, well, don't tell them. and they're all sitting there in the theater with their glasses on, thinking they're watching a 3D movie. And I of all, it was a sellout crowd. I, of all the people in the theater, was the only one who complained.
They didn't even notice. You were the only one that noticed.
Good. You paid $4 extra to see the same thing you'd see for $4 less dollars. I mean, geez,
I don't like 3D because I got to wear glasses, so you got to put the other glasses on top of the glasses.
We don't give a shit. We don't give a shit.
It's not comfortable.
We don't give a shit. Hell with you.
Yeah. Well, they can keep their 3D movies.
Yeah, but anyway, so I so that pissed me off. Then it also happened with Black Panther, where I say to the guy, it's too dark. And he walks in, and he looks at it, and he goes, well, it's up there on the screen. We can see it. I said, you don't have the 3D glasses on. They dim the picture to a certain extent. I said, but do me a favor. Right next door, they're also playing Black Panther in 3D. It started, it's a few minutes ahead of this one. Let's go look. And we walk into the theater, and he looks at the screen, which is bright as hell, and says, I think you're right. I said, so what are you going to do? He says,
don't tell anybody.
Get your money back.
Huh? Well, we can't start the movie over again. That's the trouble with digital today. You can't start the movie. Well, you could, actually, but they don't.
Well, because it throws off the timing on everything, probably, because all that stuff's run on, all the pre-show stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, twice at the same theater, by the way, at the same theater. It's
great quality control.
Well, I think part of the problem is I don't think there's a projectionist union anymore.
Yeah, it's there's no need.
Yeah, but the fact is that if there's no projectionist unit, somebody should be overseeing how well these things are being projected. I mean, if I were a movie company, if I were Disney, and I knew that Black Panther was being shown that way, I'd go ape shit.
So then that's up to you to write a note to Disney and complain.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of complaints about this throughout the business, that in a lot of theaters, the 3D is dim because they're not throwing enough light on the screen to compensate for the fact that you're looking through these dark glasses. And
see,
and it also affects the non-3D pictures because they're throwing less light on for that. I mean, a lot of theaters face this problem. And I talked to, who was it? I think maybe it was Scott Boddicker, who in Texas went to go see Black Panther, and he had the same problem with it being too dark. You know, so I mean, and I don't mean that as a joke. We know it's about black people, you know, and who are more evolved than other black people. That's what I didn't like about the movie. I felt it was racist. Yeah, I felt it was racist because, see if you agree with me on this one, Charlie. They had the attitude that why Wakanda was so great, it was a bunch of black people who had evolved. Like the ones that already exist aren't good enough. You know, you had to admire Wakanda because they were so ahead technologically. It would have been nice had they said these people live in the middle of the jungle and have a higher level of civilization, which was the case with a lot of tribes in the middle of the jungle. But instead, no, they got to have monorails, otherwise they're not worthy as a black race. Do I make sense here, Charlie? Tell me where I'm full of shit.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what bothered me about the movie. Anyway, so what's new in the news? Anything today?
Other than Penny Marshall dying, right? That was
yesterday.
2 days, right?
Yeah. She's already being prepared for burial. So this. But no, there was a story today. There were a couple of stories. One was about, and I'm trying to remember what it was now.
They found Donald Trump's signature.
Oh yes, that was
on Trump Tower, Moscow, where first he claimed he had no business with the Russians, then he claimed that he never signed anything. And today they found his signature on a document. And Rudy Giuliani put his foot in his mouth again, too, regarding that. Something like, well, I don't think I remember saying that, but if I did, what I meant is... And he made up some bullshit.
He made an excuse. He said, when you sign a letter, you sign your name. Well, this was more than a letter. It was a letter of intent.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I heard they found Trump's signature in the Lascaux cave drawings.
Yes, right. Yeah, absolutely. But
I saw a picture of it. I saw they actually held a photocopy of it up. The letter signed Donald J. Trump. We all know that crazy manic signature.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing is something to do with Stone. There was another story about Stone there. Not Oliver Stone. What's his name?
Roger Stone. I thought he took the fifth when they interviewed him for everything. How could he have lied about anything if he took the fifth?
Got to ask yourself why everybody is lying about all this Russian stuff. Why would you risk jail time? What are they hiding? Yeah. You know, if you have nothing to hide, just tell the truth.
Putin is actually Pelosi.
And the other one has to do with now Trump is such a pussy that he didn't have the balls to get up in front of the country and say he was pulling out of Syria.
I heard that he was.
No, he did not. He wouldn't take questions. He did a White House pre-produced video, and he announced it on Twitter. And he's got everybody in his party. You know, what's his name? McConnell. Mitch McConnell came out and said, you know what? If Obama had done this, we'd have gone after him in a heartbeat. Everybody in his party is all upset, and rightfully so.
And on top of that,
he said when he was running that he didn't want to go to Syria.
Wait a minute. We don't care what he said.
His mission was to get rid of ISIS.
Yeah.
He says he got rid of ISIS, and he's done.
Well, that's kind of like we say we won the war in Vietnam when we never did, you know. And then so we're leaving. We won, we're leaving. Yeah.
Against the advice of everybody in his cabinet and everybody in his party.
Oh, forget about that. The military is livid over this.
Oh, everybody's livid over it.
Yeah. So what do you have to say, Phil?
Because you're happy about being in another conflict? You know, I mean, I love conflicts. You know, but Trump, he doesn't seem to like him. He didn't want to go into Iraq. He didn't want to go into Libya. He didn't want to go into Syria. He didn't want to be involved in any of these things.
I love conflict. I've been married 4 times. Yeah.
No, you like being beaten. That's
yeah. But the thing is that all these people are just livid over this, saying that, you know, how dare you do this without consulting with somebody?
He said, or I heard that they said that in order to be in a situation like this, you can send in troops, but it's a temporary thing. If the Congress wants to send in and go to war with Syria, then they have to say we want to go to war with Syria, and he'll go to war with Syria. But at this point, we're not at war with Syria. The Congress has not approved this action. And aren't you tired of these police actions? We've had them since 1953 in Korea, Vietnam. None of them were ever declared wars. If the Congress is so apt to want to go into Syria, then let them declare a war.
But Phil, you've got it all wrong.
No, I don't have it wrong.
Yes, you. Wait a minute. Would you like to find out how you? What were you saying? Wait a minute. What did you say?
Did you hear that, Alex?
What?
Charlie said. What did you say, Charlie?
I can't believe I agree with you on something, but I agree with you on that. I'm sick of these non-declared wars.
Well, no, and so are we all. Wait a minute. So are we all, Phil, but that's not the point here. The point is he made this decision. He sent it out by Twitter, okay, this so-called decision, without consulting anybody. Without and wait a minute, without investigating the consequences. He didn't ask Mattis. He didn't matter. Wait a minute. It does matter.
We're not supposed to be there. And we weren't going to be there. The only reason he was there was to get ISIS. He got ISIS, and he's done.
Really?
Yeah, he's the first
tell that to the people who still have ISIS, who are stuck, holding their town for hostage.
Well, you know,
what about our allies who are there?
What about our allies? You mean the Russians and the Iranians?
No, they're not our allies.
And
they're on the other side.
The Turks.
They're going to benefit
the
from
Russians and the Iranians.
The Turks.
They're the ones that are there. They're the occupiers. They've already got the Russians already have a base there. They're there. They've been there.
Our allies are shoulder to shoulder with us there.
Our allies are not shoulder to shoulder.
Yes, they are.
We went there.
What you're saying is the British are there as well as the French and so on, all our allies.
Right. Well, hey, it doesn't sound like the French are our allies lately. You know,
you're changing the subject, Phil. You're trying.
Well, who said they're an ally?
Why don't you just say? Why don't you just say maybe? Why don't you say that maybe Trump acted a little impulsively, and that perhaps was doing these tweets to take the heat off the fact that he had to close down the Trump Foundation.
Yeah.
And so he finds whenever he's got to deflect from one thing, he creates another situation. So everybody's talking about that. And I got to tell you, the press is like a dog and a ball. And even you don't have to throw the ball. They can pretend to throw the ball and they go chasing it.
But it isn't going to work because they're not
Machiavellian. You think that Trump is that Machiavellian that he's, you guys say that he's an
Oh,
idiot.
yeah, I do. I absolutely do. I absolutely do. This is a guy who is a pathological liar who will use anything to bolster his lies.
And deflect. And try to change the subject.
Are you going to say he's not? Wait a minute. Are you going to say, Phil, he's not a pathological liar? This guy has lied so often he can't remember what his lies were.
I know that the fake news media is saying that he's a pathological liar, and you're good at repeating what the fake news media is saying.
What about the fake Justice Department
and
the fake
you mean
CIA
like Comey and
the fake
and
his
fake lover?
trial?
You know something? It's interesting. The whole world, according to Donald Trump, the whole world, according to Donald Trump, is fake. The only thing that isn't fake is Donald Trump.
Not all those people who are going
it out.
Not all those people who. He promised to drain the swamp. He's doing a pretty damn good job.
Well, the swamp is coming up to the surface. All of those guys that you want to protect their beef or whatever it is.
No,
that they get,
all the guys he took out of the swamp, he made it put into his administration.
Yeah,
that's how he drained it. He wanted to drain the swamp because that's where he was.
That Washington, D.C. is a swamp and there's nothing left. They're all in the swamp.
We haven't talked to Charlie about this since I don't think we've talked to you almost since Trump got elected.
And what kind of politics did Charlie?
Yeah, so Charlie?
Yeah?
What do you think of Trump?
What I think of Trump? I think he's a total disaster.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And as
Charlie, so you like him, right?
I don't want to wish ill on anybody, but I wouldn't cry.
Yeah. I wondered, we had an ex-president die recently in George W. Bush, who, quite frankly, when he was president, I wasn't that hot about him. But nevertheless, everybody said nice things about him because, quite frankly, they were as a human being, as a person, he supposedly was a very nice guy. And, everybody was using his death as code for how bad Trump was. I don't think they would have lauded him quite as greatly if we had like a great president right now.
Yeah, that's true.
But if Trump died tomorrow, what do you think the reaction would be like? Do you think it would be, oh, my God, the president is dead? Or would half the country go, thank fucking God?
Yeah.
It's like opening up a Christmas present.
Golf courses would lower their flags to half-mast.
A Christmas miracle.
Baby Jesus.
Thank you, baby Jesus. Yes, yes.
Now, you know what, Alex? What I think, though, it's like they say that he's never going to, be prosecuted and whatever because he's a president and he can get away with it. Because I think if he died, they'd actually probably give him respect and all that, unfortunately, because it seems that, it's just like the office is what counts.
Okay, but here's the question. What in the world would they say about him that was positive?
They'd have to make stuff up, but they'd probably do it or something.
I mean, you talk about how great somebody was.
He looked great on a color TV.
Right.
He doesn't even look great on a color TV because his skin isn't the color of anything found in nature.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, he'd become like this wonderful person because he was the president and he died.
No. I don't think that at all. I don't think that at all. Nope, they'll cover it. They'll cover it like they would cover any other president, but you're not going to get anybody lauding him because he's not a nice guy. His charity has been shut down because it was a sham.
You can't even do something for charity that you're not stealing.
He picks on everybody.
Won't be able to really stick it to, say really, really bad
And
things.
Today they were discussing the fact that he had the foundation pay $7.50 to the Boy Scouts for Barron's membership in the Boy Scouts. And they listed that as a contribution from the foundation.
$7.50.
How fucking cheap can you be?
A man with that much money, supposedly.
I don't think he has as much
donated-
money as you think he has.
He has
Right.
has $7.50. Okay.
I think he's all showing smoke and mirrors.
Well, he was obviously stealing from this foundation. He was using the money for a $10,000 portrait of himself to hang in Mar-a-Lago.
Wow.
And it wasn't a good-looking portrait either. Looked terrible.
Was it? Yeah, well, so does he. So what do you expect the portrait to look like?
It was lifelike.
Well,
orange and
yeah, but I mean,
so you guys like to go after the way somebody looks. You like the way you go after his hair, the color of his skin. You know, you don't go after the substance. Actually,
no, what have we been talking about?
Trump
let me just say this.
Let me say this. He had a plan.
Let me say this. Especially while Charlie is here. I have nothing against black people. I have nothing against Asian people who are yellow.
Like
but I do have something against people who are orange. I'm definitely an orangist. Okay.
You know, he has delivered on more of his promises to the people that elected him than any other president in the last 2 years.
That's not true at all.
It is not true
Did he
at all.
close Guantanamo? No. Did he try to get rid of Obamacare? Maybe. You know, he tried. He's trying to build the wall. He's sticking to his guns.
Mexico was supposed to pay for the wall. Why
Mexico was supposed to pay for the wall.
First you build the wall, then you charge the Mexicans to come over it. You know,
that wasn't what
he
he
said.
said.
We're not building any fucking wall.
No, he said he said who's going to pay for it, and then the crowd would yell back, Mexico. Right.
Well, like I said, you build it, and then they come over.
How do you feel about this? This was something that was brought up, and it's true.
Yeah.
That he can take a hard stand on anything he wants, but eventually you can put money on it, he will cave in.
Which he's done now with the wall.
Only for 2 weeks.
The Senate just passed a bill to keep the government open until after February, during February. No, till mid-February.
All right, so he kicked the can down the road. But you know, there's other things.
No. But he caved. He caved. He said to Schumer and Pelosi he was going to stand firm on this. Blah blah blah. He caves in on everything.
Would you rather
on everything.
all of those employees don't have a Christmas?
Not at all.
I cared about that. I cared about that. Yes, but he wasn't going to do it. His intention was to have them starve at Christmas time.
Yeah, right. That was a great negotiation. Didn't work for him.
No, it hasn't. It's not over. It's just beginning.
No chance anymore because he's never going to get it past the Democrats. So that wall is a campaign promise. Now he's even backed away from it being a wall. Did you see the latest tweet?
Yeah. Did you hear that they're going to give Mexico $4.5 billion to help with the refugee situation? Well, I got a feeling that he's got to deal with Mexico. They give him the $4.5 billion. They build the wall.
Wait a minute. Who's going to approve the $4.5 billion?
Congress, I think. I believe that they're sending $4.5 billion to Mexico to deal with the.
I'm not going to believe what you say because you've been wrong about everything this week.
Not heard that. Nowhere.
Let me look it up.
Either.
Yeah. Well, I heard it. Why
don't you look at Hannity.com might have it.
Probably, but he's not making it up. He gets it from somewhere.
LauraIngram.com might have it.
Okay.
Yes, Charlene.
Want your sources?
Yes, Charlene.
No, I saw that whole Schumer Pelosi thing. You remember when they were,
Yes.
That was so great because Schumer said to him and you're not gonna, because he knows Schumer how he is, that he's gonna say, like he said, will you admit that you did this and that, but he's going to say, oh no I never did. Like Schumer said, don't turn around and say it's my fault that the government shut down. It's your fault, Mr. Trump.
He said, "I'll take the blame for it," and I'm standing firm, and there's no way I'm going to do it.
He's going to say it was Schumer's
fault.
No,
but he caves in on everything. Caves in on foreign leaders. I'm going to go read the Riot Act to China, and then he's all palsy-walsy with China.
Right. And we have a great relationship.
We have a great relationship, yeah. You wouldn't believe the relationship we have.
Yeah, we walk every day.
Yeah,
great relationship with Rocket Man too.
I negotiated with the Chinese. I'm going to take 2 from column A and 3 from column B.
He wanted to do something like hotels in Saudi Arabia too, right? Like with the That's why he's in love with that guy that killed Khashoggi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to do business over there, like
the
way Rob said. That's great, Rob, that he actually has a signature on documents that he was going to do at Trump Tower in Moscow, you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw it tonight.
Yep.
And I think Charlene's got it all together.
While Phil, you see, a great way to keep Phil from arguing with us is...
I'm reading a Pew Research thing.
Pew?
P-E-W.
Your research is pretty Pew.
Yeah. Let me bring up another little story here that was in the news. Boy, my neck has been hurting from sleeping. Wrong.
Was that front page?
By the way, this is just a quick story for you, because we were talking about Les Moonves and, the $120 million that he won't get from his severance package. But it turns out that he's going to wind up asking for mediation. And he's going to wind up suing CBS. Guess who's going to pay the bill?
Who?
CBS.
Wow.
Because there was a thing in his contract that said that if there's ever a problem with him getting money out of CBS, or he ever has to sue CBS or go into mediation with CBS, CBS agrees to pay the money.
And that's regardless of the circumstances.
That's correct. That's correct. That was part of his employment contract. Now, they estimate, are you ready for this, that it may cost them upwards to $40 to $50 million for lawyers if it goes into mediation or if it goes into litigation.
So maybe they want to settle?
Aren't they better off just paying him the $120 million and letting him go home?
And you thought your suit was expensive.
I thought my contract was good.
No. You're the suit you're in now. You thought that was expensive.
Oh, your apartment.
Yeah. Well, mine's up to like $55,000 already. Yeah, but over 6 years, so that's about $10,000 a year,
forever.
Huh?
That suit's going on forever.
Yeah,
and that was last time I talked to you.
It's going on to 6 years now. 6 years. But the thing is, we haven't paid rent in that time, so really, we've actually been paying about $10,000 a year in rent, technically. Okay.
Good deal.
Yeah, good deal. Anyway, the other story that came out today, and this was one as you know, I have a presence on Facebook. I have about 5,000 so-called friends, although we've cheapened what the term friends means. And by having that many, whenever I have a birthday, I am inundated with people who don't even know me wishing me a happy birthday. I mean, Charlie wished me a happy birthday, but I don't know. Did you do it on Messenger? Or did you actually just send me
no, I actually send you a happy birthday.
Yeah.
You and Marjorie and a bunch of guys here.
Right. So anyway, but the point is that the latest news is that Facebook, while they say they're not selling data, we're selling access to Netflix, and I'm trying to remember who the other company was. Maybe Google, to have access to all the private messages of people on Facebook. Yeah, they also sold that same access to that company that is in trouble in China. The communications company, and what's it called? Starts with an A.
Yeah.
Alibaba.
No, not Alibaba. No, the largest phone company in China.
How come the Chinese keep taking these Canadian businessmen hostage? Is this over the tariffs or something?
No, we had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, but why the Canadians? Why are they taking?
Because we had the Canadians do it for us.
Because they're polite.
Because they're polite. Would you mind coming along with us? If we're upsetting your day, please excuse us. Anyway, but it was it was the company that woman was with. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. But anyway, I don't know that I might not just pull my account off of Facebook.
I was going to say, Alex, a lot of my friends, they've gotten off Facebook because that's what's going on. They know too much about you and all your business. It's sick now.
What are you protecting? People put messages on Facebook. It's usually hi, wave. What's happening?
That's not true.
That's not true, Phil. Have you not heard?
How about people who identify every relative they have, every place they go, all kinds of information about themselves?
It's the web. There. Don't they expect?
Let me explain something to you, Phil. Number one, the Chinese used Facebook to influence the election. All right.
No, now you admit it. It wasn't just the Russians. It was the Chinese and a 400-pound guy in New Jersey.
No, it was it was basically the Russians who did it. And used Facebook.
And the Iranians and the Koreans. And a 400-pound guy from Jersey.
Off Facebook.
Are you through?
That's Christie, right?
Are you finished?
No, he's bigger than 400.
He turned down something Trump offered him. Attorney General.
Yeah.
He's so sad.
He knows he's so bad now.
Trump is such poison now that Chris Christie refused lunch.
Yeah.
Refused lunch.
He wouldn't stoop so low as to join the Trump administration now, right?
Anyway,
because he knows you go to prison, you gotta toe the line with Trump, and in that position especially, right? That's going to be a tough position between now and the end of his term because of all the legal shit going on. Yeah. And if you don't lie and like Sarah Sanders does and toe the Trump line, you don't last in the job. And if you do, you can go to prison.
Well, Christie knows that if he goes to prison, that food isn't going to keep him in the size that he's used to.
He'll take that.
Anyway,
that's amazing. He had lap band.
We're getting thrown off the main thing here, and the question is,
I'm looking for the $4.5 billion. I can't find it.
Of course you can't, because it doesn't exist. Now
I heard it. It was on the news.
You dreamt it.
Yeah, I didn't dream it.
Phil, you hear things, and then when we find out what they were nothing like you heard it.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
I'll find it.
The other day,
it was in the ether.
You tried to say that Flynn was at his trial that the judge, the judge admonished the Justice Department.
I heard some talk, and they were saying this on the radio, and then later on in the day, I heard some conservative guy coming down on the judge, and I didn't understand why, because I thought that the judge had actually, looked into that and said, "I'm not going to sentence a man who
you
is
had
innocent
it wrong. You had it wrong. You heard it all wrong.
Well,
it went in this ear, then through Phil's brain, and came out the other side with a completely different story. Anyway,
all right.
The point that I'm making is that I wonder whether I'm doing anybody a favor by maintaining my Facebook, because I just think that they are involving themselves in things that completely belie the trust of their users.
And the only way you're going to stop it is if people get off the platform.
Yeah.
Most of the world is on the platform.
Well, it only hurts for 10 seconds.
Not as many people are with it now that were with it a month ago. or
well,
2
Rob
months
was
ago.
one of the first ones to drop it, and actually not a bad thing. I mean, I stopped. I don't have I have Messenger on my phone, but I don't put the Facebook application on there. So if I want to look at it, I actually have to go type in Facebook because I don't want to look at it that often.
Well, I mean, what I may do at the very least is not close the account out, but just not put anything on it.
Yeah. And make it so that people can't post on it either, and that'll keep it clean.
Yeah, and just keep it in play. But I mean, I just don't. I think the idea of I don't mind people using my data if they're giving me a service for free, but I do want them to be open about it and tell me that if I'm going to use their service, that how I'm going to pay for it is by allowing them to access my data and the data that I put on that particular service. That I can understand completely, but it's the fact that they haven't been transparent about it and that this has been going on for a long time. I saw a documentary the other day on, I think it was on Amazon, maybe it was Amazon, and it was about this data collecting by companies. And the fact of the matter is that all of you right now, how many here, raise your hand, use Facebook? Obviously, all except for Rob. How many here use Google?
What do you mean Google? Google for what?
Google in general.
Oh, I use Google Chrome.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine, good. That's very good. How many here have an Android phone? Nobody. Okay, here's the deal. With your Chrome browser and with your Amazon, if you have an Amazon Android phone, they know everywhere you've gone, everywhere you've shopped, every time you've gone out, where you went. They know all that information.
We all knew that was coming.
No, we didn't.
Called the Newfield chip.
No. What do you mean the Newfield chip? That's not what I'm talking about, Phil.
It's in our phones, and it's what tells that gives that data out. In 2011, Gary Vaynerchuk said that chip, what it does is you could be shopping in Safeway, for instance, and you'll be near the Wise potato chips, and it'll send you a coupon. It'll send you a coupon for 50 cents to buy Wise potato chips. It'll send it directly to
I've never had that happen. I've never had that. I've never had that happen.
We all knew it was coming.
I never had that happen on my phone. And who is Vaynerchuk? Who is this?
Vaynerchuk.
Gary Vaynerchuk is also known as Gary V. He's a
now I know.
He's a very early YouTube adapter that owned WineLibrary.com, and now he owns VaynerMedia, and some of his clients are Apple, Pepsi, and so forth. And in 2011, he spoke to Inc. magazine, and he was the keynote speaker at their conference, and that's where I heard his speech about the Newfield chip. And so if you Google Gary Vaynerchuk,
somebody right now, if you're near a computer, type in Newfield chip. Let's see what comes up. No, not you, Phil. I don't trust you.
Says see Phil
near field.
Near field chip.
Newfield, China.
Oh, near field.
It's been 8 years since I heard that thing.
Near field. Oh, I know it. I know what near field is. Yeah. Yeah, but the fact is that you basically every move you make today, they have a record of. They know about. And when I bought my iPhone, I didn't ask for that, And when I use Google Chrome, I don't want them collecting all kind of information on where I go on the internet and what I bought. I mean, it's proof enough that when you are using Google Chrome and you go to a particular website and then maybe you look at Amazon and you're looking at something like hard drives or whatever, then no matter where you go, it could be Drudge the advertising that comes up is, hey, here's some hard drives.
Yep, I get
you
that.
know when you click on
Chandeliers.
when you click on that thing that says I agree, it's in there.
I never signed anything.
No, every time you update your iPhone,
Hold on a second.
scroll,
Forget
and
about
there's
my
a thing that says I agree.
Forget about my iPhone. When
It's
I
in
use,
there.
I'm talking about Google Chrome, and I've never had to sign anything on Google Chrome that gave them the okay to do anything.
It's the device, I believe.
No,
that
it's not
does
the
it.
device, Phil. We're not talking about the Apple terms of endearment or whatever that thing is that they do. I'm talking about the fact that Chrome does this to you, and it never asks your permission, right?
The only way you're going to do it is to do all incognito browsing. If you open up incognito browsers, they can't trace you. The problem with
Wait a minute. What's an incognito
Like the
browser?
VPN?
You can put
No. Just open up a Google browser and then go and you can when you go to, let me see if I can find the exact place here. But if you go to the here, all right. Well, this is in the way. Get this out of the way. New tab, new incognito window, and you go there. The window, you've gone incognito. Now you can browse privately, and other people who use this device won't see your activity. However, downloads and benchmarks will be saved. It protects cookies and site data. It's
now. How do you get to use it incognito again?
So if you need to go incognito, you choose on the far right side of the browser, all the way to the right of the where you type www. There's a circle there, right? Click on that, and then there are three options: new tab, new window, or new incognito window.
Wait a minute. Here, if I'm there, what do? I push on the plus.
No, it's two. There are two. At least on my browser, there are two little icons to the. You know where the little star is?
Yeah.
On the very end, past the star, there are two little icons on mine. The furthest one to the right, if you click on that, it opens up a. You can go to your bookmarks and your downloads and to more tools and settings and all that. The third thing down on mine is new tab, new windows, and new incognito window.
So you hit incognito.
Yeah, select incognito.
And then you're incognito.
I know. I can't find it. Can't find it at all. Huh. I can't incognito. No, I can't find it.
So what do you see all the way to the, what is the furthest thing on the right on your browser past the URL, where the URL is?
Okay, past the URL?
All the way outside the URL.
Okay, first there's a star. There's a star. Then there's a thing that says save to Facebook.
Okay.
Then there's an information sign that says password, has access to this site.
Okay.
Then I have a thing for Vimeo.
Okay.
Then I have my Alex account thing. And then I have a arrow. Customize and control Google Chrome.
Here's another way you could do it. On the very top of your browser, where you got file, edit, view, history, and all that.
Yeah.
Click on file, the third one down, new incognito window.
Yes, right there. Yep. Now, what happens when I go to incognito window?
Open one, you'll see.
Okay, let me open up one.
It saves nothing. It won't let cookies.
See. No cookies. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Cookies and site data are blocked, so you won't. It's inconvenient as all get out because all the conveniences of browsers are not there anymore. So
Right.
you're there. You're in a browser. And everything is manual at that point. None of the niceties that you get from, having your password saved and having, when you go to a website, it's always different. You probably wouldn't be able to go to your bank website and it's going to ask you, because it doesn't recognize the browser, it's going to ask you for a PIN or, that kind of thing.
Right. It says here, Chrome won't save the following information: your browsing history, cookies and data, information entered in forms, your activity might still be visible to websites you visit, your employer or school, and your internet service provider.
Yeah, but you know why that is? That's because they're using those entities are using a proxy that they can look to. They might be able to look and see where you're browsing. They keep a history of my company used to do that. They keep a history of every place you go. Right. So that's not good. That's still going to be visible, but the internet won't know where you are, so you won't get all those crazy pop-up ads.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's interesting information. But all I'm saying is that in general, most people don't realize this, but these companies know what you're doing, where you are, where you shop, where you've been. They probably even know who you're fucking. You know, I mean, they can pretty much follow everything. And it used to be they just started out as, hey, I'm Facebook. You can talk with your friends, and that's it. And then somebody said, well, you know, we got to make money out of this. How can we make money? Let's sell the data. Let's make the data available to people. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
All right.
Tomorrow you get the thing put in your side, right?
Shocker. Yep.
Well, you might be able to call the show tomorrow and tell us if you're pain free or not.
Yeah, it'll take a couple days, but yeah, I'll probably try and call in.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I got a pain in my neck, and it's
after the last 2 hours I've been at a pizza parlor with a bunch of 13-year-old girls and a band. I'm pretty painful right now.
Why were you there with 13-year-old girls?
My daughter's band teacher decided to call a Christmas pizza party at the local pizza place, and my wife, she's the president of the band boosters, and I'm the unofficial vice president.
Oh, okay.
So we went over there, and we had to corral the little bastards.
Boy, I got a pain in my neck, and it isn't Phil.
Yeah, well.
Hey, has anybody heard the California news? It has nothing to do with Trump, but it has to do with those fires. Now they're blaming, what is the name of your electric company? PSE&G?
PG&E.
Pigs, goats, and extortions.
And
now they're saying...
That's what I said. PG&E didn't turn off the power to these big transmission cables, and it made the situation worse.
But not only that, they're being looked into for failure to clear shrubbery from around their equipment and kind of stuff. And they have spent $8 million or $16 million lobbying the state of California to pass some laws, so the state of California won't enforce anything because
it's worse than that, Rob. I used to work in the pipeline industry, and the stuff that PG&E was getting away with or trying to get away with was obnoxious. They're falsifying records on pipeline inspections and everything. It's ridiculous.
So, I'll tell you something. You want to know where you want to know where they appeared in film lexicon is they were the bad company in Aaron Brockovich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And from a non-Californian who every time I hear, like, when my company, special rules for California around health insurance, and you see notes on things that, like, for California residents, this could cause cancer, and all this crap that they do, they're looking the other way with these wildfires and PG&E. I think that's just so hypocritical.
Well, the San Bruno explosion was a result of one of the biggest things that they found was that they were falsifying inspection records on the pipelines, and it was going on for years. And they'd just sit on the corner and fill out forms, and they found that out. And this is also what was going on down in Paradise.
PG&E has existed ever since, well, I got to tell you, they were around when I was born. They were always the electric company in California, at least that I knew of. And it was PG&E, and I guess, all I ever knew was PG&E were the good guys, right? They supplied the electricity.
So when you were born, they had a guy that used to go from street light to street light with a torch, lighting the street lights.
Kerosene.
Yeah. The lamp lighter.
I remember when I was working, we we had nitrogen pipelines in the Silicon Valley, and PG&E put a jackhammer through one of the nitrogen pipelines in San Jose. And when we found out about it, we basically went down there and said, well, what are you doing? You didn't even call us before you dug. And they're the ones that are supposed to call before you dig. And they put a jackhammer right through the damn pipeline. And they said, we do this all the time. And we had to shut down the VTA and everything for a day and a half to get the pipeline.
So how do these companies, and if I remember PG&E correctly, and I have no reason not to believe it, when I was growing up, they were a pretty respected company. How do they go from that to this?
It was all money. They're taking too many shortcuts.
Yeah.
Too many.
And they're
shortcuts.
lobbying. They're spending they just gave their CEO $8 million. And another $8 million to the legislature of California to lobby to try to get laws passed that benefit them regarding all of this crap. And so $16 billion, I forgot which. I'm not sure which.
Could be billion.
They could have built the wall.
But I mean, it's just corruption. Corruption at every level. It's the world we live in.
So here we've got all these companies that are dealing in data, and I love how now it's just become a pain in the ass. Every time you go to a site, there's always a disclaimer about data now.
Yeah.
You have to okay before it'll let you continue using their product. And I'm sorry, I understand the nature of what's going on, and I understand that even if they say, it was what's his name, the head of Facebook, Zuckerberg, who got up before Congress and said, we're not using people's data. No, we're not selling people's data. That's what he said. No, they're not selling people's data. They're selling the access to people's data. He didn't say that.
Interesting.
See, he said, we don't collect data. But what they're doing is they enabled, for instance, Netflix to access your messages. Why? Yeah. What is it? What does Netflix need your messages for?
Yeah.
Right.
What is?
I've always warned people not to use Messenger for anything.
I'm beginning to say the same thing, but it is simple because it's there. And if I want to talk to Phil, I just leave him a message on Messenger. He always messengers me.
My wife does it all the time. I said, when you make an initial contact and then go to text.
I actually have to send Rob an email. Yes,
he doesn't use it.
Yes, Charlene. No, he uses email.
Yeah, he doesn't use the messenger.
I know. That's why I have to email him.
It's getting late, and before you leave, because I think you have me blocked on there. I can't instant message you happy birthday.
Well, I don't know. What I did is, after I hit 500, I erased all my birthday messages because there's just too much of it on there.
And I know I hate to wish you happy birthday because I'm like you.
And I'm not saying
I just think of how old I am every year, and then I'm getting older and older. So I kind of hate birthdays.
And I'm not saying that I'm extremely popular when I say I had 500 birthday wishes, because 5,000 people got the message that I was having a birthday. Mm-hmm.
4,500 of them are Russian bots.
Actually, I think only the ones who are technically followers, which is about 1,520.
I have actual friends that I'm in touch with all over that actually do wish me the happy birthdays. They're not the bots or people I don't care about. So that's why I'm upset if I ever had to leave.
Well, Penn Jillette messaged me by Facebook, but he didn't do it on the Facebook page. He did it by a message. Mm-hmm. So there's some people who, and then I untraditionally, Bobby Slayton, my old friend Bobby Slayton, actually called me. I actually got a phone call, instead of a text, which is what I usually get. So, it's a whole new world we live in. God bless it. I'm so glad that I'm not a teenager growing up in this world.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Or a television executive. Yes, Jeff.
Yeah, I have a friend who has a small company, and and he has what he calls beacons, and he takes beacons and puts them wherever you want them to go. So, for example, there's a company who's always trying to hire people, and they're in Bridgeport, and so within, I don't know what it is, 20 miles, or no, maybe it's like 3 miles from their company. Anybody who's walking by there, they get a little internet message like, hey, we're looking to hire so-and-so for this kind of job.
They do that for advertising, too.
Yeah, it's advertising. It's what it was.
And it's a beacon. And how does it
call it a beacon?
How does it know to send a message to your phone?
You can put the beacons in all kinds of places.
Yeah, but how does it access your phone? That's the question.
It picks up your phone because you're there, and it says, "Do you want to answer this question?"
That's a similar way that chip I was talking about, near field chip. That's a similar way that it figures out you're looking at Wise potato chips, and it sends you a coupon.
Yes, it's the same. It's the same system. So he's also doing it for when a guy who's a Republican or a Democrat who's advertising in the town, and the mayor or the governor is trying to say, hey, the governor is going to be here speaking in 23 minutes right down the street. Why don't you stop by and meet him?
Yeah, they do it in the elections. We use it in elections, like on Waze and things like that.
Yeah.
So when you're stopped in traffic, it'll pop up a little thing will pop up and say, "Oh, by the way, you're stuck in traffic.
The near field
Why don't
chip.
you vote on so and so."
The near field chip, Phil, only works within. What does it say here?
No, that's another thing.
4 centimeters.
To exchange information between
phones.
Like there's several things that it does, and it's a communications chip, and it's and Apple took it, and so if you're within a certain distance, you can
it's like when I want to send.
But that's just one of the.
You listen to me, Phil.
Hey, I'm giving you the good information.
No, I'm not going to believe you because you're always wrong. Now,
okay.
No, what I was going to say, and then we got to get going here, but what I was going to say was that when my wife, for instance, I take a picture and she wants the picture, I simply go to the, what is it?
AirDrop.
AirDrop, and her phone comes up, and I simply send it over to her phone. That's near field.
That's one of the functions of a near field.
The other one is?
There's like 40 different functions.
Oh, okay.
Look it up on Wikipedia.
I have it here, and that's what it said, 4 centimeters. But anyway. Yes, Jeff. Quickly.
I was just going to say, the company that I've been talking about is called You Are Here.
Okay. Let's go check it out. Hey, listen, thank you, Charlene, for calling. Same thing to Jeff Stein. Charlie, now that you don't have a person in your life, do what every other lonely person in the world does. Call this program.
Okay.
Okay, please. We love having you here. You know, I've missed you for the longest time.
I love being here.
Yeah. So more. Not once every 5 years. Kevin, thank you, and good luck tomorrow with your little procedure. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night.
Good luck, Kevin.
Phil Meyer, thank you. Rob Alfano, thank you. And, of course, thank you to Tony, who hasn't said much of anything tonight, but that's okay. We just like having his picture there. Hey, all of you, why don't you wave everybody goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you soon. Okay, that's our citizens panel, folks. That's how she works. Very simple process, isn't it? Well, it's all because of near field communications. No, it's whatever. Anyway, listen. Coming up next, The Intersection with Jack Bishop tomorrow night. 9:30, Damian Chaplin with The Exchange, and then at, let's see, about 10 o'clock tomorrow night, same time, same station in life, we'll be back, and if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.